What's up, paintball enthusiast? First of all, thanks for tuning in. If you want to learn more about playing competitive or tournament style paintball, make sure you like and subscribe to our page, and we'll be posting more content like this weekly. This week on Tournament Paintball Tips and Tricks, we'll be talking about creating a system for communicating. The key points are always going to be keep it simple and repeatable. We want to make a system that we can use over and over and over again with the same group of guys so we all kind of know what we're talking about, and we just take some simple qualifiers to identify a field. We also want to make sure we're using logic and auditing our process as we go. A lot of times if we look at a layout on the field map, it may seem a little bit different in person, so making sure that we're auditing and getting to systems that make sense for everybody is a very important task. You always want to start with positions of the opponents and the situations we're currently in, and that can be body count for us and the other team, and then possibly what certain players are doing, whether it's on their team or our team, but we always want to start with the positions of the other team and generally identifying the widest players. We like to use the add and repeat system, which is simple as if you see something, you say what you see, and then I'm going to add what I see and repeat it back. So generally that's going to sound something like me saying, hey, back left, back right, and then somebody else tuning in and saying, hey, back left, back right, snake one, Dorito one. And then I would repeat that back to them, back left, back right, snake one, Dorito one. And then we have all the information compiled. The last key point is what's called putting a name on it and being direct. When you're talking to your teammates, use their names. People respond much better when you say their name and talk directly to them than essentially if you're just talking into the ether and just kind of yelling. We want to make sure we're communicating, having simple conversations, and being able to be direct with our teammates. Next, we're going to jump into naming the field and using zone calls to identify the areas the opponent has crossed. All right, let's get into the meat and bones of this video. Let's name this layout. So for us, we generally use back left, back center, back right. Some people will use number systems like 1, 2, 3, or even 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to keep it easier. Those systems generally go from left to right. Next, let's name the insert bunkers, which are the bunkers closest to the back center. On the snake side of the field, a lot of people will use S names like Seattle. And on the Dorito side, people will use D names like Dallas. That can be a theme that leads all the way up and down those insert lines if you'd like. Now let's name our middle progression. We like to use Alpha and Bravo for our center bunkers, which is just the A-B combo. So we know A is first, B is second up the middle of the field. Now let's name the wedges on the snake side of the field. So for their wedge, we're going to call it Texas. For our wedge, we're going to call it Mexico. I like this combination of words because it's basically identifies that they've crossed the border. They've crossed the 50-yard line from Texas to Mexico when they're on our side. Now we're going to name the wedges on the 50-yard line. We would use lefty and righty for these. So this is a call that would flip depending on the way that we're looking. Obviously, the one on the left would be the lefty. The one on the right would be the righty. Now we're going to name the two middle bricks. On their side, we're going to call it Monster. If they come to our side, we call it Godzilla. We like to use signifying words if they're on our side of the field, so it's a little bit more urgent as the opponents advance. Next, we're going to name the Dorito insert line, which we would call Cali and Beast. Generally speaking, those are just the names that we use. It can be any combo. A lot of the DBS teams will do Dallas Money Beast in that combo. For Uprising, we like to use Dallas Cali Beast. Now let's name down the Dorito side of the field. You'll notice here that we basically go 100 to 600 down the Dorito side. When it comes down to naming the Doritos, some people will use Dorito 1, Dorito 2, that combo. We use 100, 200, 300. And at times, that can actually progress in different pathways. I think it's really important that you get on the field and look at this. You can kind of see the natural progression. I could see some instance where on this layout, someone may even include the Dallas as the 100 because it's a very natural progression to go 100, 200, 300, and a lot of it's about identifying the natural progression on the field. Now let's name the snake side of the field. So on this layout, we used S1, S2, S3 as people get closer to you. One of the things that we will do at times is we will use higher priority signifiers if they're on our side. So for instance, instead of calling that maybe the 50 S4, we might call it Viper, or instead of calling it S5, we might call it Ghetto, or something that identifies that danger is close and they're on our side of the field. And the last little tidbit I want to drop on you guys is some zone calls. So here you'll notice that we've identified a red gap and a blue gap. So with these gaps, what we like to be able to do is identify if people have crossed these. So if we know no one's crossed the red gap, we could create a signifier that I'm shooting and holding this gap. We know no one's crossed it. And then if someone does cross that red gap to get in the snake, it can become red alert. We know they're in the snake. We don't know where they're at is generally what that means. The blue gap on the other side is the same idea, where if we know that we're shooting and holding that blue gap and making that call, it essentially means we know they haven't crossed that side of the field. They're not pushing down the Doritos. There's a lot more zone calls you can use. This is just a very simple example because I wanted to lead you guys to the next level of understanding. Remember, guys, now that we've gone through all this, make sure you can keep it simple and repeatable. Use logic and audit your process as you go. Start with the locations and the situations we're putting ourselves in, including the widest player on the other team. Use the add and repeat system so we can make sure we can get all the information across the field to our whole team. And then don't forget to put a name on it. Say your teammate's name and talk directly to your teammates. We're not just yelling and screaming. We're communicating as a group. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content like this weekly.